Welcome to 26 and Under, the anime podcast where we watch an anime in a week, usually if it's on 26 episodes or under. This is your host, Matt. Joined with me is Rob.
Hello.
And Henry.
Yo.
So, as you heard last week, if you were listening last week, we rolled Trinity Blood for this week. And that was 24 episodes, right? 24?
Yep.
24.
I enjoyed it a lot. I had watched it previously, so it was kind of rewatching an old one from way back when, and I liked it. Rob?
I'd never watched it. I would probably watch it again if I had the time, but it was good.
I never heard of it. Some points were high, some points were low, but we'll get into that.
All right, so as per our format, we are going to be talking through the plot points to a shorter degree, I think, than the last episode where we spent, I think, the entire podcast going through the entire plot of the anime.
Yeah, pretty much.
You mean the plot of each arc?
Yeah, which was pretty much every
episode. The anime
episode.
only had 5 episodes that were plot relevant.
But we went through every arc also.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we did.
So, the first 2 episodes of Trinity Blood are introductions to 2 of the characters, which is Abel Nightroad and
Esther Blanchett.
Well, Esther's in episode 3.
Yeah.
Episode 2 is all about Trace.
Yep.
Really? I thought episode 1 was about episode 1 had episode 1 was Rebecca.
all about Abel.
Yeah.
That was
Episode
Rebecca.
1 was introduce us to Abel with a little bit of Trace. Episode 2 was introduces the Trace, and then he is literally barely used for the rest of the series. And then episode 3 was the Star of Sorrow arc.
Yep.
For reference, the plot synopsis for Trinity Blood is it's in the far-flung future where humans had colonized Mars, discovered nanomachine-like viruses that turned them into vampires. But our main character, Abel Nightroad, is a Kruznik, which is a vampire that drinks the blood of other vampires. And he works for the Vatican because it's one of the 3 organizations that currently exist in the world. The other one of which is the Vampire New Empire, which is based in the Byzantine Empire.
Mm-hmm. I think he has alternate reasons for being there, but yeah, that was like the basis of it.
I'll talk about the alternate reasons because those are more explored in the books. Which I went through and read a lot of the synopses from the books that weren't in the anime.
Well, way to overachieve, Matt.
I know. I wanted to know more about the plot, so that was me. So the first 2 episodes are just kind of like, here's a character, here's a situation, here's how a character deals with the situation.
They kind of introduce us to the world.
Yep. So then the real major story starts happening with episode 3, which is the start of the Star of Sorrow arc, which is a 2-part anime called Star of Sorrow Part 1, Star of Sorrow Part 2. In this, we're introduced to Cate Blanchett, who is pretty much our main female love interest.
Esther Blanchett.
Esther Blanchett. Why did I say Claire?
I have no idea.
You said Kate the first
I
time,
said
and
Kate?
then you said Claire.
Jeez.
You are just all over the
But I don't actually ever felt any attraction between Esther and Abel ever. I really didn't feel it there. Like, because when it's clergymen and like clergy people, they know they can never, ever do anything outside of what they're doing.
I mean, you say that, but later in the arc, we kind of get more into... Anyways. Or later in the other series.
Yeah.
But, so we learn about Esther, who is a orphaned child that was brought up in a monastery where she decided to become a nun in some European country because this is all taking place in Europe.
Istvan.
Istvan.
There we go.
Istvan. This town is kind of on the border between the vampire empire and the Vatican, so it's kind of like a middle ground where the political problems are like abound. If something goes one way towards the thing, it could cause a war. If it goes the other way, it could cause another war. So they try to all keep their hands clean of this. And she starts going on a revenge plot because one of the vampires killed the sister that was leading the church in that area, which is kind of the start of the main conflict. Is she's taking revenge against him by killing all of his people, and he is getting mad and going and attacking people, which is where we also get introduced to Dietrich, who is kind of like manipulating her into doing all this. and he seems to be a nice enough guy. Seems to be. His character design looks very evil. That might be because he is evil, because he's part of the third faction of the world, which is the Rosenkreuz.
The Order of Rosenkreuz.
Yeah. They are trying to destroy the world, it seems like, or like bring about
They're
some
trying
kind of change.
to bring the end to the Vatican because they are of the belief that all the vampires are much superior and humans deserve to just be food for all of them.
So we get this whole fun thing of it looks like they kill Dietrich, they capture Abel and Kate, and they're kind of sitting there, and the vampire of that is going, now I'm going to do this evil satellite cannon that is ancient technology and start blowing up Vatican-related places to start a war.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also starts blowing up other places that he wasn't planning to shoot.
Right. Because as it turns out that who we thought Dietrich, who was presumed to be dead, turned out wasn't dead. He staged his own death and has been underlying the whole. He's been pulling the strings.
Yep.
For everything.
He's been pulling Gulia's strings from the beginning, where he's like, I could get my revenge on you, but I'm just gonna do things the way I want to do things.
Well, he's not even trying to get revenge. He
just wants to do things the way he wants to do it. Because Gulia wanted to do it for sort of a selfish reason.
Yeah, he wanted revenge for his wife because this whole plot is about people taking revenge for people's deaths.
I think that's just the show is revenge.
I think for the first half at least.
Yeah.
Revenge is best served with wafers and wine.
So Abel deals with they find out that they've got a code or Dietrich tells them a code that will deactivate the thing, but because it's the last remnant of of Gulia's, what you said his name was, right? Of his wife, he is very much does not want to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So
because it destroys the satellite.
Yeah,
it'll start the self-destruct sequence in the satellite.
Yeah,
and it'll just destroy it. But Gulia's like, no, I want to use it myself. Like, don't do that.
Well, he doesn't want to destroy the last remnant of his wife.
Yeah, it's the last thing he has of hers that she had worked on.
Yeah,
and then Abel gets into a fight with him because Abel breaks out because of Tress, right?
Yeah, Trace breaks him out. Again, Trace is more. I don't like how they use Trace for a lot of this because I think he's a really interesting character.
He's the best character.
I mean, quotation character.
Robot.
He's a character. This is an actor.
He's a robot. He's the best robot.
Yeah.
I want to talk about him more, but I'm saving that for a whole section where I talk about a lot of stuff that the anime doesn't cover.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I feel I'm just gonna say, and I'm probably gonna be repeated every time we talk about Trace, that I feel he's underutilized as a character because he's got a really deep character that's more explored in the books and manga than it is here.
What is overutilized is 40% Kruznik O2. That is used entirely too much, and it's the only reason how Abel gets out of all of his troubles. You could stop them in the beginning if you just do it right away. They know what you can do. Just do it.
Well, sometimes they don't, though.
The ones that don't are the ones that are smug and like, you got nothing. 80%. Oh, no, what did I do?
I also think that, they don't do, again, the books and the manga do a little bit better explaining as to why he has to say that constantly instead. Because as you notice, like, we meet two other Kruzniks later on, and they don't have to continuously say releasing this level.
No.
It's a thing that he kind of built into himself that they explain in better context through flashbacks.
Mm-hmm. And it's something that probably would have been explained if this series had a second season.
Yeah.
Or if it had been able to continue through the books or anything. But
the next couple of episodes, more specifically one of the episodes, could have been removed to instead reinforce the plot point of how Abel came to be or anything like that in the past. But no, instead we get do with the sword.
I mean, I like Sword Dancer. Sword Dancer's story was really cool. I like the fight scenes and everything. It had nothing to do with anything besides introducing us to Sword Dancer, but
yeah, that's all the episode dealt with.
Well, I mean,
that's introducing you to another character.
Yeah, because the episode, so the fourth episode ends with them destroying the star.
Yep.
Then we meet the Pope, or Esther runs into the Pope.
Yeah. Then we do the one where Esther's meeting all the members of AX, meeting all the background characters that we've seen doing like political dealings and like talking to the Pope and everything. So we meet the Pope, we meet both the cardinals, we meet
Noel.
We meet Noel, we meet all the members of AX, at least except for Sword Dancer, which they reference in that episode, which is why we go to Sword Dancer in the next episode.
Yep.
It's because they go, hey, there's this character, and then they're like, oh, he's not actually going to show up for a while. We might need to show him real quick so people know who he is.
But the beginning was great, where Abel forgot his card.
Oh, I mean,
that was candy's falling out of his pockets. Yeah, loose trash. He's like, oh, what am I gonna do?
Abel, who is both a combination of Alucard when he's in fighting mode, but he's also just Vash the Stampede when he's not. Like, I'm gonna be a bumbling idiot 90% of the time and still be, but I actually know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And then when I go full scary mode, I turn into Alucard from Hellsing and just like kill everybody, no problem.
Let's talk about Peter Pan.
Ooh.
Guess who didn't realize that until I got to the end of the episode? When I think it's like I hear the name of the episode's Neverland, and I'm like, okay, cool. That's probably just gonna be things. And like, hey, the kid's name's Peter, and I'm like, cool, his name's Peter. I didn't think
girl's name is Wendy.
The girl's name was Wendy. I still have not.
They
caught
all
on.
turn into fairies. And then they said the Tinkerbell system, and that's when it got you, didn't it?
That's when it got me, and I'm like, Neverland, Peter. Oh.
Yeah. So the synopsis for that episode is Abel goes, and we first start by meeting off a former member of AX, Father.
He's not
Leon.
a former member. He's a current
Leon.
member. Father Leon is a current member. He just has to spend time in jail, and they reduce his sentence every time he does missions for them.
He's my favorite character in the whole show, by far.
That's an understandable point. He gets a lot more screen time than mine, but again, as I've stated, Trace is probably my favorite character. But
he's my favorite too.
Okay,
he's just too cool.
But
he's like, oh, I gotta kill both of you. Nah, I'm kidding. I have no ammo. Like, but you said you had no ammo. Robots can't lie. What?
I mean, again. There's stuff that they do with Trace in the books that explains a lot of his differences.
But Leon and Abel go to Neverland.
Yep.
For reports of fairies, like some vampiric fairies.
Yeah. So they go for reports of vampires, but that appear like fairies, and that's weird because it's like most of the time vampires, when they're using their abilities, they manifest it as a sword coming out of their hand, or like. That's the most common manifestation of vampire abilities. Vampires get tons of abilities, apparently, though.
Well, don't forget that these ones were also a little bit special.
Oh, yeah.
Comparative to other ones.
These are children that have been experimented on.
By
Barnell?
I don't know. He shows up in the next arc dead, so, like, he's not that important. But it's foreshadowing for the next arc, because he's involved in the next arc. Yeah.
In Barcelona.
Professor Barry?
Yeah.
I believe.
That's his name? I thought
it starts with a B. He's dead in the next episode, so it doesn't.
Yeah, Professor Barry.
But he seems to be experimenting making artificial vampires.
Yep.
Which is a little weird. He's also doing it to children, which is also a little weird.
It is kind of a little weird.
Not that bad.
I also didn't
I've
think
seen worse.
Like they never show his character, so I assumed he was like kind of like looks like all the other characters in this, not like a.
I imagine bald, fat-headed guy with glasses.
I didn't imagine that, so I imagined he looked like all the other characters, where they all have like all the male characters have kind of a older man look to them, and like more of a seinen look.
He probably looked like. Nina's
he
dad.
did look very different compared to all the other characters we've seen.
He probably looked like Nina's dad.
Actually, I would go with that. He looks like Nina's dad.
But the best part of the series is definitely like the end cliff where they charter a cargo freighter to send all the children to Albion,
which is Britain.
Yeah. And then they get back and they're like asked to explain. They're like, "Yeah, I totally forgot what we spent that money on that charter for." And they're like, "Well, you're gonna have to pay for it." They're like, "What?"
Yeah, you're gonna have to pay for that. And they're like, "Oh God, no!
Oh, no.
I have a vow of poverty. I'm in jail. How
are we supposed to pay for this now?"
Figure it out.
Oh man, it's got some good comedic moments when they come up.
It blended the comedic moments well with the actual action, unlike the first thing we watched.
Yeah, No, the comedic moments were completely separate from the serious moments.
Yeah, and also like the character of Abel Nightroad when he's not in battle mode,
He's a lovable goofball.
he makes for an easier one to do comedy with. So after that episode starts the next big arc, which is the Overcount arc, which Abel and Sister Noelle go to Barcelona on a mission, and they are only allow them to go on this mission with this amount of money because they're sending Noelle with him because Noelle's gonna watch his spending habits
because of the freighter incident.
Well, because also he racks up a ton of money expenditures. That's why he has to take that. Anytime they give him money,
I didn't catch that.
Anytime they give him money, he racks up a ton because he has a vow of poverty.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
So yeah, how about we don't do our job and go sightseeing?
Yeah, well, no, they go there.
Yeah.
They go to where they were supposed to go, and they're like,
the police mention, nope, just collapse. Bad foundation.
Yeah, we don't need you. And they're like, and so he's like, well, time to go back home, right, Sister Noelle? And she's like, but we're in Barcelona.
But look at all these sites I can go see.
We can go see all these sites. They gave us all this money. He's like, I thought you were here to watch the money. I am. We're going to watch the money take us all the places we want.
Yeah. Because I guess they don't get, any vacation time.
I mean, when you work for the church.
Yeah.
Praying to
vacation
Jesus
is not
is
part
all
of your,
you need.
it's not part of your work.
I would say none of the people in the Inquisition, I'm going to call them the Inquisition, the Inquisitorial Department, get any time off.
Probably not.
Yo, but what about Wordsworth? He's probably my second favorite character.
I mean, I like Sister Kate a lot too. Sister Kate was really cool. I like the two characters that are definitely not just like robots.
Wait, which one was Sister Kate?
Sister Kate was the one that's always in the ship and sending her holograms out.
Oh, that's right. Or she gets angry. She's like, "What are you doing with that music box?" Like,
oh man, so many good characters. But
during the trip there, that happens, and they're like, "Well, we should make them look into this really large purchase into this worn down building." They're like, "Okay."
There were two different purchases. So Abel goes to one, and Noelle goes to the other. Abel, the one he goes to, finds a dude playing an organ.
Well, first we find the body of the dead professor.
Oh, yeah, we find the body of the dead professor, and then he's like, that's not good. And then we find this dude with long hair who looks like a Bishi is playing an organ. All of a sudden, he starts monologuing about how the organ is a sound weapon or something that causes massive destruction.
Exactly. But the person orchestrating it is Isaac Ferdinand von Kampfer.
Yep.
And he is the villain that we chase for the majority of the rest of the series.
No, we switch between him and Dietrich constantly.
Really?
It's either one or the other. Those two and Kane are the three major members of the Rosenkreuz.
Okay.
So we meet him, and he's saying he's doing a test run of this new weapon, and his employer wants him to show the complete power. So he puts it on full blast and starts destroying all of Barcelona.
Levels Barcelona.
Yep.
Completely.
And I forget why Abel was unable to stop him. What was the...
because, he kind of disappeared. Abel went 80% and, shot the lightning at him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, haha, you didn't stop me.
Yeah.
And Noelle's dead.
Yeah. So in the next episode, we find out that Noelle was killed in one of the buildings falling down, which is, yay, characters die when actual things that should kill them.
Yep.
Unlike other anime.
But it was really something you couldn't figure out until the next episode.
Yep.
Because I thought she was perfectly fine before I watched the next episode.
The agony of Abel at the end of the episode kind of made me lead to thinking that that's what happened, but
and also I think it would have really reinforced the point had him and the cardinal lady that wears the red.
Yeah, Katerina.
Katerina, yeah. If he would have mentioned something about the promise he made, where he wouldn't let anyone else die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Noelle actually dying, so that way we didn't need it for the episode after.
Oh, that's how it was. That's why he was unable to stop the thing. Is Isaac said this only stops if I die, and he's like, I don't kill people.
Yep,
that's right.
That's right.
And in fact, throughout the entire show, he didn't kill a single person. I don't think
he tried to kill one person.
Tried, but didn't.
But that's like the last thing he does. That's the last thing that happens is him trying to kill a person.
So I wouldn't consider him a person.
So after that, still in the same arc though, we find out that a ex-member of the clergy, like high member of the clergy, is coming back, and he's a person that lost to Alessandro the 18th.
Yeah. He's the person
Pope.
who lost to the current pope.
Yeah. And of course, everybody's super suspicious. Why is this guy coming back? He definitely can't be trusted.
He's been gone for like 8 years.
Yeah, he's been gone for 8 years after the Pope got instated, which means that Pope was like 12.
Yeah, no, he lost to his younger nephew.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of an anime or a Pope for anime is they want somebody who's innocent and kind and good.
Yep.
So like that would be the best one, is taking a kid who is like the.
No, it made sense, and it completely showed it in his character. Like, he was frail. He didn't want, like, anytime people started yelling, he just completely got frightened and scared and just wanted everything to, like, just stop.
Yep. He's coming back.
He comes back with 2 gifts.
Yeah. He comes back with 2 gifts. One of which is a bell. The other one of which was...
An obelisk.
Oh, yeah, the obelisk. So there's also a terrorist threat, right? That there's... That what happened in Barcelona is going to happen in Rome. So... everybody starts looking through all the bells because they're like, hey, bells are what did it last time. So they're inspecting every bell. And they don't find anything in Rome. But they haven't inspected one bell. That one
bell.
Yep. And so when trying to confront them to investigate the bell, he's like, no, why do you need to investigate my bell? What could be going on? And they're like, we just need to look at it real quick, sir. It's nothing against you. So they look in the bell. Nothing's there. Katerina gets disfamed or disfamed. Would that be the word for it? She
persecuted him.
She gets a hard slap on the wrist.
Yeah, she gets a hard slap on the wrist, and everybody's like, "You're no longer allowed to be in here for a while because of how you."
Yeah, how dare you accuse the cardinal of doing such a thing?
And that's mainly from her counterpart, who is very much the opposite kind of person she is, where she is willing to work with people. She's not seeing vampires as completely evil. Yeah. All this stuff. He is completely like, we need to kill everybody who doesn't agree with us.
That's the church's way, Matt.
I know. That's what's great.
That's the church's way.
Also... so I don't think there's a single voice in this series that actually drives me up the wall. I think all the voicing, and I think we all watched the English dub.
No, I watched Japanese.
Oh, you watched it in Japanese?
Oh, okay.
This whole thing I watched in Japanese.
Okay, so we can actually talk about this a bit. So let's bring this up now. So how was it in Japanese, hearing all the English words, English names, and
it's as you would expect from any sub that has German, English, or anything. It's usually handled very oddly, but it gets it across where they need to be.
So
it didn't sound very odd.
So the English dub is really good, at least in my opinion.
They did the pronunciations very well.
And also the fact that they get, like, for the dude cardinal, he gets a very good voice actor who is constantly just sounding like a priest for fire and brimstone. Like,
yep.
We need to burn all the heretics. It's like what a Menothian priest would be like.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Katerina sounds like a very regal person.
Yeah.
Abel sounds like discount Trigun, which is fine because Troy Baker's still really good voice actor. And I think Sister Esther is probably the least, or doesn't give the best performance, but she still sounds.
You still hear the emotion coming through in the scenes that it's important.
Yeah, and but I think all the voices are really good, really well done.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact that when we go to people from Albion, they try to simulate the British accent, and they don't. But if they know they can't, they don't. Like that's an important thing. Is like, oh, this person doesn't have a good British voice, but they can still we still like their voice for this character. So off of that subject and back to what's going on in the arc.
But it turns out there's nothing in the bell.
Nope, nothing in the bell.
But what there is something in the obelisk.
Second gift. So obelisk starts going off. Oh, by the way, this entire time Abel is nowhere to be found.
He resigned.
He comes back briefly to resign as his position
because he felt responsible for Noel's death. He felt like he can't do anything, and then Rome starts getting destroyed, and he starts to and he realizes he needs to go back and help save Rome.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes back.
Specifically, Cardinal Sforza, which is the female cardinal.
Yeah, Katerina.
Sforza?
Katerina. Yeah, that's her first name.
Sforza.
Yeah.
She's mostly referred to as Cardinal Katerina.
Yeah.
Or just Katerina, I think, is what they mostly refer to her as.
Well, because he knows her from before.
Yeah, he knows her from when she was like a child. Because he's a vampire that drinks vampire's blood. Guess what? He's old as shit.
Really old.
So find everything out. We come back to the situation where we find Isaac. Isaac says, "You got to kill me to stop the thing," and Abel is still unable to kill him, but Rome's being destroyed. But luckily, Woodsworth, Leon, and was Sword Dancer also there, or was he not? I don't think Father Hugh was there. I think it was those two that mainly solved the problem by destroying whatever the thing in the top of the obelisk without having to kill somebody.
I think so. I don't think he showed up.
So they destroy it. He realizes that his plan was foiled without him getting able to kill him, and so he goes, "I'm out," and disappears again. Rome's pretty okay, and the dude that was trying to do everything is trying to get away and is stopped and kind of thrown into Vatican jail, which in this kind of situation
the Archbishop is caught and thrown into jail.
I would assume this is very much like being thrown into jail during Spanish Inquisition times.
Probably.
He not coming back.
Probably not.
It's depending on what time period they actually want to use, he was probably tortured.
Oh, I'm sure he was tortured.
80% of the people in the show deserve it.
Yeah. So the next episode is the one where we're introduced to our first vampire character, right?
Yeah. The first friendly one.
Yeah.
So sometime afterwards, Abel joins a vampire from the New Human Empire.
Yeah. What was her name again?
Asterith Azrin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or Asthershi.
But I believe he mostly just calls her Asta.
He calls her Asta in the English dub.
Hmm.
That's why when you were saying Astashi, I was like, huh? What is that?
Yeah. It's Japanese.
Yeah.
It's Japanese words for you.
But this is actually the first mission where human and vampire work together.
Yes, because there's a vampire serial killer that has escaped the Empire and come into the Vatican territory.
Yep.
So the Empire wants to send her to deal with this person, and she needs the Vatican wants a person to make sure that she's not just killing people.
Exactly.
So they send Abel. Abel and her start working like buddy cop style. Everything starts going pretty well.
Things actually don't work pretty well. She absolutely despises him off the bat.
Yeah. She hates all humans though.
Yeah.
It's not just him, and she thinks he's a human.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody knows about Kruzniks except for people that know about Kruzniks.
Exactly.
So it's like, unless you're a member of Rosenkreuz, you are Katerina or Abel or the other two Kruzniks. I don't think you know what a Kruznik even is.
But she eventually muscles her way through a bunch of people and finds the killer.
Yep.
And then completely just loses all composure and bearing. Because
this is the person that killed her mentor?
Yes.
Yeah. So she gets a lot of character development. In fact, in this arc,
she does. So for the next 5 minutes, she's chasing this dude through the city and just causing mass chaos, mass destruction, trying to kill him. And I don't remember a whole lot from this episode. I remember the ramifications after it, but I don't remember a lot of the events. Yeah. Ultimately, she squares off and tries to kill him. He throws up his special defense, and it rebounds into the bridge with 1 million people on there.
Right. He has
Abel
an Aegis
saves her
deflector.
And when she comes to, she realizes just how much destruction that she wrought, like how many people she accidentally killed.
Yeah.
And it just completely destroys her mentally.
She kills him after that, right? Or they
No,
kill
he
him?
runs away.
Oh yeah, he
No,
runs
he runs
away.
away.
Yeah,
He gets away.
he gets away.
As do all villains in this show.
I mean, I think that's because the writer was originally planning for them to come back in later arcs.
Develop their own super friends.
In something like the Rosencreutz.
Horrible
So at the end of
gasp.
this, she goes, I'm gonna go talk, or we see her talking to the Empress, and she's like, hey, not all humans are as bad as we thought. Maybe we should start opening our doors.
I think before that, they finally do kill him in the end.
Yeah, I thought she killed him.
No,
He gets
Abel
away
does.
after all of the after what Asta did.
Because
Gets away.
they end up learning that the Pope's coming to Venice. So the Pope's coming to the city that they're in.
Yeah.
And they somehow learn that he planned to kill the Pope.
Oh, right. He was planning to kill the Pope at his trip to Venice, which
So-
is then canceled, and Katerina sent to Venice instead.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
her and the vampire get into a scuffle. They go through the song and dance. Eventually,
Different vampire, not Asta.
Not Asta, no.
This is a vampire who looks like... No, that's why I was saying at the end of the last episode, Asta is talking to the Empress and like, not all humans are bad. And then the Empress makes a sly joke or sly comment of, oh, I see Abel still has it going on.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, you know Abel. That means you're probably a Kruznik. Or Abel was part of the Empire.
Yeah. But you start to see, like, at the end of this episode, you start to see, like, okay, maybe it's possible. Like, a bond is possible. Like,
Yeah.
A truce can come to terms.
Yes. So now we go to the next episode where Katerina is instead going to Venice instead of the Pope.
Yep.
And she's sitting in her room, and this vampire sneaks into her room. There's an alarm going off about an intruder.
There's an explosion.
Yeah, there's an explosion. And
A plus B equals vampires trying to kill you.
Vampire trying to kill me. Vampire. She apprehends the vampire, and the vampire says he's a messenger.
So she never apprehends him.
Oh no, yeah. Kate tries to shoot him, or Kate shoots him.
Trace comes in.
Oh, Trace shoots him.
Yeah.
Who always saves the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trace comes in and is like, that's a vampire. I'm going to shoot a vampire. And shoots the person. Katerina is trying to stop because she is the voice of reason for a lot of things in this show.
And she also states that the vampire actively said, "This is how you treat a messenger."
Yeah.
Of the Empress. So like she's like, this is political. This is more political than just a random assassination attempt by vampires.
Trust don't care. Trust smash.
Accurate. So that happens, and ultimately, she believes that there was a person there sent to send her message from the Empress. So she sends Abel and Esther.
Yes.
To go find them.
Yes. We also find out that silver bullets are one of the ways to hurt vampires permanently.
Yep.
Or like very, very.
So silver weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like in the first episode, Abel throws a silver bomb at the guy that shows silver is clearly affecting vampires.
Well, yeah, but we see from the vampire side how it affects them, because he got shot by a silver bullet from Trace.
It stops all of their abilities that they're able to do with that.
Yep.
And his attendant has to literally take it out and start sucking the silver, or like the contagions out of his body like a snake venom.
Mm-hmm. It's weird, a little.
It's the only way to turn them basically mortal.
Yeah. So he's suffering from that, and his attendant
steps out for some reason. In comes Sister Esther. With a gun.
Time for the major love plot.
Yeah, right.
Whoa.
Starts out, Sister Esther is trying to threatening to shoot him. He's like, all you humans are the same. You all want violence. I came here for peace. Yada yada yada.
Yep.
Abel comes in. Abel stops her from shooting him and killing him.
Well, his assistant comes in.
Oh, was his
holds a knife to Esther's throat.
Yeah, and then Abel shows
and
up.
Abel comes in, literally like finger gun.
Yeah, doing a
to
Bash
the
the
back-
Stampede move.
to the back of the
Yeah.
dude's head.
I got a gun to your head. All right, I believe
right.
you.
Aha.
Aha.
He gave him the finger guns. Like, no.
And then Esther's like trying to get like an explanation. He just straight up slaps her, which was a completely unexpected move for me.
I mean, this is the Vatican. You went against my orders. I said not to try to kill a person.
Right. So, but like, unless Abel was fighting, you were right. Like, he's just been a very like aloof like character.
Well, but he's still a priest. Like, this is how Catholic priests act when somebody, or this is how the fictionalized Catholic priests act. I don't believe all Catholic priests act the way they're fictionally portrayed, but like this is setting up a Inquisition style mindset to the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
So I am Roman Catholic, and I've been to the Vatican.
Yep.
And I can honestly tell you, no. I mean, unless they do things behind the scenes, most clergymen and most sisters are
But I'm saying like this is
straight laced.
Yeah, but this is setting the precedence of
this is pure
Inquisition.
fantasy. Like,
yeah. This is setting an inquisitorial style.
Yeah.
Where in the Inquisition, like
Speaking of,
yeah. Oh yeah, we get to meet the Inquisitorial department,
Inquisitorial department.
which is actually should actually just be called our army.
It is. Yeah. So they hear about the explosion. They're like, how dare they do this? We need to retaliate fully. And send like 3 warships.
Yep.
I think they said.
They send 3 warships and their entire army.
Yeah.
We also get to meet the 2 main Inquisitorial department members.
Brother
which are
Petro and Sister Paula.
Brother Petro, who has power armor.
Yep.
Freaking love how good his armor looks and the fact that it has a jetpack.
I loved his character design.
I like his weapon.
His character design was the like gun ho. I'll follow all my orders to the best.
And he's also honorable because he runs into Night Road and Esther and everybody. And he's like, "You guys are hoping this vampire. You guys need to stop. This is a vampire. I'm going to kill you." And Night Road goes, "Then you and me 1-on-1."
Yep.
But he doesn't use Kruznik level because that would be unfair.
It would.
So the fight ends with
Abel
him getting
falling
knocked off a cliff into water. And everybody goes, "Well, he's dead."
Yep. And the other 3 have escaped into the underground catacombs to find a boat.
Yep, so that they can get out of there before sunrise because because vampires still have the sun weakness. I like the fact that they kept every weakness to vampires.
I like it.
Because there are other vampire animes that go, vampires are literally gods, and it's stupid.
Yep.
I think the sun thing has always been a predominant theme, though.
Nope, because Alucard can walk around in the sun all day. so can Cerys. Literally, all the main vampires in that series can walk around during the daytime. It's all the shit tier ones that they kill constantly.
But they're almost there. They almost get to the boat, and then one of the vampires says, "Hey, I'm the bad guy now."
Yep. The attendant says, I was the one that set the explosion. I've been trying to sabotage this entire thing.
Yep. It works out. Hey, I've been working for the Rosenkreuz.
Yep. I'm going to try to kill you before you can get back to the Empress and tell her that everything's going well because I want war to happen.
Yep. The Rosenkreuz basically just don't want this pact to happen.
Yep. So he's doing all this like monologuing as villains always do. He throws Kate. No, wait, that's not till later. That's in the next arc. But he's doing all the monologuing, saying how everything's going according to his plan, and then he gets attacked and killed by Pietro. Right? Am I missing anything?
No, that's accurate.
Okay, cool. I don't remember all the major plots or points of this. I just remember like ramifications. So
yeah, no, that basically wraps up the entire second episode. Abel returns to the boat. Radu tries to kill him.
Yep.
The dude
Petro
kills Radu.
Yep.
And then they escape. Then we learn that Radu is not actually dead.
Nope. And
Yeah,
he
another
also
recurring
starts
theme.
talking to another character we know named Dietrich.
Yep.
Wow, this guy is
Surprise.
becoming a thorn in everyone's side.
By the way, I want to use this point now to talk about in the manga, Dietrich has a very pretty boy design to him that's unassuming.
Yes.
So like
That's pretty much what I thought of him in the actual show.
they go with a little bit more of a menacing look. Like he definitely
he's got a slight menacing undertone, but I think he definitely has more of that beautiful face.
if
He's got that well kept look.
I might go look up a picture of what he looks like in the manga, but he looks completely like a like he looks like one of the older male characters from like a shoujo manga.
Mm-hmm.
Like he looks like super like attractive towards the female characters.
Yeah.
Which is not, I would not say that about Dietrich in this one. He looks just like a edgy kind of character. But he still has the dark, I hate everybody, I want to kill everybody thing. And we find out that he's able to control people
With puppets.
with puppet strings.
Yep.
Which is, I like all the abilities.
So after they leave with a boat, we now learn that all the airships are being controlled.
Yep.
By Dietrich and
Yep.
attacking the city.
Yep.
This episode gets a little complicated because once they start getting attacked by the city, then Eon, which is the messenger, he decides that he wants to meet with Katarina again.
Yeah.
So then he convinces everybody to protect him and help him get there,
Including
Pietro.
Which he convinced the person that's all fire and brimstone against vampires to let the vampire live.
To help protect me to get there.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Even crazier, on their way there, they run into Radu controlling a tank.
Goliath tank.
Yeah.
Radu didn't. And everybody goes, Radu, you're not dead?
Radu's not dead. B, let me point this big tank at you.
this tank that is way bigger than anything I've seen in a 40K table.
Yeah.
Like,
no, this tank was massive.
Oh, man.
We need our own Megazord power.
Abel.
Do that thing you do.
Abel goes, is this an 80% moment?
It's
yeah,
an 80%.
because he controls the lightning.
Yeah. He has to drink
he goes
Eon's
80%.
blood to
Yeah.
do it.
But he goes 80%, blows up the tank with his souped up powers, and now Radu looks like he dies for real.
This time.
And killing him, the airships stop because Dietrich's like, well, I lost the tank. Whatever.
Oh
well.
We're gonna stop now.
On the next plan.
So they finally get to talk.
Yep.
And then it's time for Eon to head back.
And they're sending 2 diplomats with him to go to that side and talk. And who are the 2 diplomats?
Esther and Abel.
Esther and Abel.
And this is probably the longest arc that happens.
Yes, this one encompasses 5 episodes.
Well, this
Plus
arc
it ties into the previous 2
Yep.
and the next 2 episodes afterwards.
The major point of this one is, and why it takes so long, is we're also learning an entire civilization's culture.
Yeah.
Like we haven't seen too much of what the vampires' culture is like. So the vampire culture is very much a almost exact replica of the Byzantine Empire.
Yep.
We have our empress. We have a caste system where it's either you're either high up or you're treated by your caste. So like if you're a peasant,
So
sucks to be you.
so there is a caste system, but it doesn't limit your schooling.
Yeah.
So you still have all the options to like go up, but being born in nobility is definitely a big deal.
I mean, and we also find out like nobles live in almost extravagant castles. Like we see
Extremely extravagant.
we see Eon's grandmother's. I almost called her his mom because she looks to be that age, but I forget vampires.
Yeah. No, his grandmother's
Yeah.
place.
And his grandmother's place is immense, but not as immense as the royal palace.
Yeah.
So they come down. They didn't use a normal ship to get, or like an official ship to get there. They used a like merchant ship because they had to bring 2 Vatican members in. So can't go through official channels.
So first thing they decide to do is go Eon's grandmother,
Because Eon's
the Duchess of Moldova.
because how are we gonna get these two Vatican members into the castle to meet the Empress?
This is true. But the Duchess of Moldova, she could probably do it.
She could do it. She's in the she's in the major secret council of the vampires.
Exactly. Oh, but what do we find when we get there, Matt?
She's dead.
Everybody
dead. And the authorities show up and claim that it's Eon that did it.
Yep.
Did you kill your own grandmother?
He didn't go. He was on a mission from the Empress and didn't go straight back to the Empress when he got here.
Yep. This is also where we're introduced to the foot soldiers of the Rosenkreuz.
Yep.
The undead vampires.
Oh, yeah.
That they've ragtagged back together.
That Dietrich has full control over because his abilities are amazing. Like, I want to say this. Every, like, superpower that they show off in this is really cool to me.
Yeah. And as it turns out, so they find everything. They fight the foot soldiers. They try and leave. They're confronted by the personal soldiers of the Empress, who accuse them of killing his own grandmother
because they don't have bodies to prove that it was undead vampires doing it.
Because they blew themselves up.
Yep.
And then they run. Who do they run into?
Hey, I know you.
They run into
Ragu.
Asta.
Oh,
Nope,
Asta.
they
Oh,
run
Asta.
into
That's right.
Asta's mansion.
They don't run into They don't run into what's his face still.
Not yet.
Yeah. Radu.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, he comes in next.
Eventually.
Yeah. But we saw him blow up. How is he back again?
Find out.
Yeah. So they run into Asta. Asta was told by the Empress, "Hey, there's an emissary and 2 emissaries from the Vatican coming. I need you to take care of them."
She recognizes Abel.
So as soon as she sees Abel, she's like, "Oh no, not again."
Yeah, pretty much.
God damn it.
This episode was weird.
Yeah, because it's mainly like, oh look, we meet up with Asta. Night Road disappears to go try to talk to the Empress.
Mm-hmm.
And he meets the Empress, and he goes, "I don't think you're not the Empress." And I'm
she's
like,
"What?"
Yeah,
excuse me.
She's like, "What? Excuse me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? You don't look like the person that we saw saying slyly, 'Hey, Night Road hasn't changed.'"
And then the guards come in. He's like, "Yep, no, time to leave."
Yep, I'm out. Peace.
Then he ninja vanishes.
Oops.
And we have Ion showing Esther around the slummy area.
Yep.
And we meet a little girl
Seth.
who is named Seth.
She's selling tea.
She's selling tea.
But it's only during her free time.
Yep.
She goes to medical school.
She looks like she's 8.
She looked real young.
Again, vampires can look whatever age.
Yep.
As we are finding out. And so she sees the police attacking them, and she helps them out. She uses somebody got hurt. It was it Ion or was it Esther that got hurt? Esther got hurt. So she helps fix Esther.
Yep.
And then
Esther didn't get hurt.
Which one was
No,
the one
she
that got hurt?
Because they Nemo.
What?
The other ones they were with, they gets hurt, isn't it? You sure it was Esther
both
that got
do.
hurt? Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was they both got hurt, but Seth goes, you'll heal fine. You're Methuselah. She needs actual medical attention, so I'm gonna fix her up real quick.
Yep.
And then they get attacked after she fixes everybody up. She goes, "You guys leave. I'll distract them while you guys go."
Mm-hmm.
They leave. We don't see anything more of her. And so, like, assumption is, oh no, they killed the little girl character.
That'd have been unfortunate. What we do is Eon runs into Radu again.
Oh yeah, this is where we run into Radu finally. Yeah. And Radu seems to be higher up on the caste system than he was before.
Yep.
And he also seems to be acting very different.
Yeah.
The guy we met earlier, Suleiman, is who joined joined Dietrich's organization.
So we go through. Or they escape. Or no, they don't escape because he captures them and puts them into a prison cell.
Yeah, this time Radu, with the help of the Empress's bodyguards, put them in a body cell. And the reason they're all in the same place is because they're getting ready for the Duchess of Moldova's funeral.
Yeah, because they're going to kill the Empress there.
Because that's where they're going to kill the Empress, with explosives.
Yep. But to make sure that we leave everything in a really bad position, he shoots Eon, with a bullet that's making him go blood hungry.
Yep.
And he's going real hungry. And he's like, so Esther, you can do one of two things. Throws a silver knife in there, goes, you can kill him, kill yourself, or have him kill you, and then he kills himself afterwards. Because he knows that Ion would not be able to live with himself after killing the person he is falling in love with.
Yep.
Because we see the telltale signs throughout the entire thing that Ion is literally just falling in love with Esther.
Mm-hmm.
We are sitting here watching a pretty lengthy scene of Esther and him like coming to terms with Esther's like, you can just feed on me. I'm not going to kill you.
Yeah. And here I really wanted that to happen. Like I thought it would have been a nice like clean cut for Esther's character.
Yeah.
Like the sacrifice. Like, hey, I'm cool with this. Like,
but Henry, there's still a plot point about Esther that hasn't been addressed yet, which is the star on her back.
But I really wanted this to happen.
This means she's part of the Joestar lineage. What are you talking about?
Damn, that plug-in.
Oh fuck, she is a chosen, but it's not in the right spot. It always has to be right in the right on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Skin grafting.
Skin grafting. Got there.
It's also not blue. Wait, they were all blue. Were they all blue or was it red?
They're red.
Depends on what you're watching.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Or reading.
Look, I really wish we could do JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but
Can't.
we can't because part 4 was way more than 26 episodes. So was part 3.
Ooh.
5 and else. But
yeah,
we learn about this is the episode where we first learn about Cain, isn't it?
do they mention Cain at all?
They mention it later.
Oh, okay. So next thing that happens is Abel breaks them. No, it was it Abel and
Abel comes up. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Abel and
Asta.
They were on their way to the palace.
Yep.
And saw the explosion.
Yep.
And assumed that the Empress was dead.
Yep.
So then they're lurking around.
Well, because that's actually when the assassination attempt was going off.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, "Oh, there's an explosion. Empress is dead. Fuck."
Yeah. But right before Eon is able to kill himself with the sword, because that's what he ultimately ends up doing.
Yeah.
Abel, like on the floor, like in a hush panic, shoots the sword in half.
Yep. I love anime physics.
Blow it up.
Yeah.
Shoots the sword in half, and then they toss him a little thing of synthesized blood so he can drink it so he doesn't kill anybody.
Yeah.
Do it.
Well, that's happening. Esther confronts Solomon for his actions.
Yep.
She's like,
You did some bad
"You
stuff.
did some bad stuff.
To get you.
Where are my friends?" They're like, "Well," he's like, "Well, they killed each other.
Yep. They killed each other.
You can examine their bodies if you don't believe me."
Yeah.
And then Eon's like, "Or she can just look at my body now," trying to be all witty.
Oh God.
And also he's sitting there getting ready to like take over as emperor, and then the empress also comes down.
And then the Empress comes down,
And
like, "What?"
he says that what and all of a sudden and he's like, but the person I killed, and then the person that we've seen as the empress comes out, and we're like, huh, weird, that I thought that was, and the empress is like, let me introduce you to the Duchess of Moldova, and it's like,
Nobody
look
really
at that.
died.
Dietrich's gonna be really angry at me about this.
Dietrich's gonna be really angry because Dietrich's been controlling
Radu.
Ragu,
Yeah. He's
like,
been
like the pasta sauce.
no, that's Ragu.
Close enough.
I called him Ragu, and I was like, no, that's not his name.
Could be. He
Ragu.
drinks
I
blood.
mean, luckily he's gone after this, so
Yeah.
I don't have to say that name anymore.
But he dies from a way no one expected.
Hey, look.
Because Abel confronts him.
Yep.
And tries to use his 80%. But guess what? He hasn't done it in a long time.
Got blood.
Drink any.
Bet on vampire blood.
Yep.
So he collapses.
He's like, oops.
And they're all like, oh no, who's going to deal with this? Curtain rises. Hey, look, there's Seth.
Hey, look, it's
She's the Empress.
Aw, isn't that cute?
So then they tell her what Abel's doing. So she rushes there.
Yep.
And then she activates her Kresnik.
Yep. And and her weapons show up. So I guess we haven't actually talked about what happens when they go Kruznik.
We can save that for a different part.
I mean, it's just they all have weapons. Her weapons are tuning forks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we start hearing a sound happen, and he starts turning into dust.
Yeah, he literally disintegrates.
And I'm just, and you're, and he, I think the last thing he says is like something about her being his mother, because all the vampires look to her as their mother.
Yeah.
Because she's the empress, she spawned the entire kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So after that,
Now we have that conversation.
Which conversation?
The one
Between
you were talking
Seth
about
and Abel
before.
about Cain.
Yes. Where she says, Cain's still alive. And we're like, who's Cain? Well, I guess that makes sense that we have a character named Cain, we have a character named Abel.
And a character named Seth.
And a character named Esther. They're all biblical names, Matt.
Well, I know that, but we have a character named Abel. Of course, there's going to be a character named Cain.
But they were from...
Well, I don't know about all the biblical names. I know that Esther.
These specific ones are specifically from
Yeah,
a
these are
passage
the
from
highest
the
ones.
Bible.
Solomon
Well,
is another one.
I know Solomon, but I just knew Cain and Abel. Like, if we have an Abel, there has to be a Cain. Usually, Cain's the good one, though. Because
That's
usually,
actually probably not even close to correct.
well, no, I'm saying like in anime, usually because Abel's the one that dies, they usually in the biblical story that they usually have Cain be the not evil one, because they don't want to have, they want to redo the Cain and Abel story, but have Cain kill Abel still, instead of Abel trying to kill Cain. It's weird. I've seen a few anime that do Cain and Abel, but they don't do it. They don't do a lot of biblical references a lot of time in anime.
Weird and Catholic go hand in hand like cookies and water.
Weird and Christianity in general.
Sure. We know that.
Yeah.
Now we get to the last major.
Two more
thing, right?
to go. We have 2 episodes of this one and 2 episodes of Linux.
Well, I mean, the last 2 episodes of this are just, hey, everybody's good. Let's just jump to the final, because I don't think anything really important happens for the last bit of this arc, besides talking about they introduce Cain.
Yeah, they introduce Cain.
And talk about, hey,
Cain ultimately is Abel's he's Abel's brother and Seth's sister. They're all 3 of them are related.
He's Abel's brother and Seth's sister. He's both of their brother.
Yes. But we didn't touch that.
No. You said he was Seth's sister.
Or whatever. Whatever.
Henry, you don't get to decide whether you're going to be an aunt or an uncle.
Maybe he could, okay? In this day and age, I sure can.
But, I mean, at the end of this arc, it is important because, the head villain's kind of defeated.
Yeah.
Which is really the only redeeming plot point of this entire thing. Like, I found myself jumping forward a lot of parts until I got to episode 22 and 23. The last 3 episodes had all of my interest. The other ones just didn't have my interest at all.
No, the end of the series was really good. Like, it really, grabbed a hold of you and, made you want to keep watching.
Oh, no.
The only problem I had was the actual ending.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so the last arc is we go to Albion.
We get that war we wanted, pretty much.
Yeah, we get the war we want, and it's going to happen in Albion, which is a third sovereign nation, pretty much, because they have control of all the lost technology, and they have the ability to use it.
For the most part, been neutral.
Yeah.
Through this whole thing, and then the queen dies.
Yep.
With no heir.
And she says to her attendant, "Look for the star." Somebody has a star on the back of her body. I don't know who that is.
Is this character important?
But the vampires revolt because they've been forced to live underground in a ghetto.
Because the way that Albion's been using all of this ancient technology is the vampires know how to read the language, and so they use the vampires to work the technology.
Yep.
And they treat them like slaves.
Oh, we didn't mention the Pope is here.
Yeah, the Pope goes there because he's going there as to do diplomatic stuff.
To do diplomatic stuff.
The Pope is being the Pope.
Yeah, it's
and then he gets kidnapped.
He's the least Pope.
Well, he gets lost first.
He gets lost because nobody can kidnap him when he's lost.
This is true.
Because most people just look at him and think "Are you lost, clergyman?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, are you lost, young man?
Yeah.
Because you don't look like
anything important.
Yeah. I mean, Esther did it in the episode where she met him. Is like, hey, I also got lost. I don't know where I'm going.
I also have a low self-esteem threshold.
All right. So Pope meets some more meets some vampires for once.
Yeah.
Because he's
never actually met any.
Yep.
Gets spooked to death by the tiny one.
Yeah, gets spooked to death by the tiny child. And realizes, no, they're just people like us. We should try to be more welcoming towards them.
Yep.
Man, you mean if we never had an exclusion pact to begin with, these problems wouldn't have occurred?
Whoa. Weird. So.
And then Kaze meets Abel.
Yep. And then Kaze meets Abel. And Kaze kills Abel.
Kaze kills Abel.
It's like, wow, we got there,
Weird.
boys.
We got there. Kaze killed Abel. Done. Series over.
We've done it.
Main character. No, wait. We still have an episode.
Hey,
we still have two.
Hey, guess who we still have? We have Triss.
We do have Tress.
Yep. So Katarina is getting is at a place with a person that we only see in flashbacks, whose name is actually Lilith, and she's in like a life support system, it seems, and she takes a little tube out of what looks like blood, and gives it to Trace and says, "Go take this to Abel," because Trace is literally used in this as a plot device for I get shit done.
He does. No, every time he comes in, he gets shit done.
Everybody's all mourning Abel.
It's mostly just Esther.
Yeah, it's mostly Esther, but I mean, everybody's still like Abel died, like and we have all the AX members there trying to deal with all the shit going down in Albion.
Finally killed all the bad people, and Kane's just like, destroy all of you.
Yep.
Yeah. So then we have this airship of ancient design come in.
And we have Dietrich. Actually, this is where Dietrich gets betrayed by Kaze and killed.
Yep.
Because Dietrich was like, "Yeah, I'm part of this organization. You're not gonna kill me. We're all friends."
That's where you're wrong, Bucko.
You helped the villain do what he wanted. Guess what villains do after they get what they want? They always kill the person. They always kill the people unless they're actually important. He doesn't kill Isaac because Isaac helps him keep his body together.
Yeah. Then ultimately, the entire AK organization.
AK?
AX.
AX. Sorry. The entire AX organization is trying to destroy this airship.
And so
It takes a
have
while.
it takes a lot of work, and all it takes really is a bigger airship.
Yeah.
We finally get to see the Iron Maiden.
Yep.
Well, we see the Iron Maiden. It fires its gun. Doesn't work off its electromagnetic defense system.
But we have Sister Kate who goes, "Oh, I know what's going on. We just need to time this perfectly."
And guess what we do?
Time it perfectly.
Bam.
Take down the ship and kill Isaac. Woo!
But Wordsworth, his car.
Oh,
His flying car.
rocket car.
Rocket car.
Rocket car.
It goes
good.
350 kilometers per hour.
But it's really hard to handle.
But it's really hard to handle because it's an awkward design.
Because he figures something like this might have he might need a situation for this, and then he also thought, well, I already have this rocket car. What if I need missiles?
There's a missile defense system.
So then there's missiles in the car, because why not?
I mean, he's just Q.
Yeah,
He's just Vatican Q. Like, hey Q, did you need to have that pen shoot a laser? No, but look.
And then Abel's reborn.
Yep, by dumping a vial of blood on the coffin that he's in and it absorbing into him.
At 100%.
Yep. And also Esther is told that she is the heiress to Albion.
Yep.
And
Abel and Kaze have a fit.
A scuffle in the air.
A scuffle in the air where Kaze goes 100.
Yeah, they both do.
They both do.
It was a pretty underwhelming fight.
It was, but I think that was because, again, they were probably planning for a much better fight to happen in a later book.
Yeah.
Because nobody dies out of that.
Nope.
And as much as Abel was trying,
Yeah,
Abel
he
was very much trying to kill Kaze. And that's pretty much the wrap up of the story. Esther becomes the Queen of Albion, and Abel and Eon decide we're going to go hunt down Kaze and the Rosencreutz.
Yep. They've decided they've had enough of this shit.
And that's where the series ends. And that's because, and it ends that way because the original writer of the novels died before he could before he could write more. And
we're 2 for 2.
Yeah.
2 for 2.
We're 2 for 2 on this. I hope
batting 100.
I hope next week we don't get another one that will never finish because of an author death, but we'll see. But this is where I want to talk about the differences and not differences, but like the stuff that was left out of from the books.
Okay.
So there's 2 main series of books. The first series of books, the only arc. There's only 2 arcs that came from there, and it's the Overcount arc and the introduction to everything, which was the Trace arc and the Tinkerbell arc.
Okay.
And the Sword Dancer arc.
Yep.
And anything that doesn't directly deal with Esther.
Gotcha.
Because Esther is all the second series.
Interesting.
In this, this is where I'm like, they underutilize Kain, because in the books they talk a lot more about Kain in his episode.
Yeah.
And we find out that Kain was originally developed as a army, Trace. Trace was originally developed as a line of army, as an army by a Vatican scientist.
Okay.
And the Vatican scientist wanted to use this army to take over the Vatican.
Aha.
And he got betrayed by Trace, and all of Trace's line except for Trace are pretty much dead.
Interesting.
So he developed sentience?
Yeah, because his creator's name was Geppetto.
Gosh.
You're a real boy now, Pinocchio. I detect vampire.
But the reason his name is Trace is because he was the third one made.
He was the third Pinocchio.
Yeah, all of them had their names as a number.
Pretty neat.
Anything else you wanted to touch on?
So there's also the thing that the novel goes into, like, what happens before the story. So like Cain, Abel, Seth, and Lilith.
No.
Well, that's also explained at the end.
Only a little bit.
So
only a little bit that like they were designed to help the mission to Mars.
Yeah.
So they were designed to help the mission on Mars.
But Abel had a completely different look at people.
Yeah.
Abel, Seth, and Cain all were on the opinion that the Methuselah should rule. That's why Seth is the Empress, and Cain and Abel were both on this side. And Lilith was like the Vatican. It was on the Vatican side of like humanity should get to live alongside them.
Mm-hmm.
And then because Cain is a psychopath, because he's the only person to have gone 100% of that time, killed Lilith, which sent Abel into a spiral of realization that that Cain is a psychopath, and that nobody should ever go 100%, because if you go 100%, you run the risk of turning into a psychopath.
And then dropped him from orbit.
Yep. And then him and Seth dropped him from orbit, and he decided to join the Vatican to repent for all of that, and that was 900 years ago.
Yeah.
So he has been.
I thought it was 600 years before the events.
Maybe it was 600. He's been working for the Vatican for
he's been working for
hundreds of years. Actually, no, he wasn't. He's actually only been working for the Vatican for a very small amount of time. He actually spent a lot of time in the Empire, but just sulking there, like not doing anything. And then when he met Katerina was when he went into he saved Katerina was when he went into the Vatican.
Yeah.
And these all these things are just like side stories that were done. And
it would have been nice character building and like world building.
There's also an actual book after this, but it's not finished.
It's not something you'll ever see in animation.
It's not something we'll ever see in America because they stopped publishing the books too. After the third one. Yeah. Okay. So they were also doing a really weird publication thing with the books in America, where they did one of one series, one of the other series constantly.
That's weird.
We got one from the original series, which is mostly character introductions and the Overcount arc, and then we got the other one, which was an Esther arc.
Gotcha.
And we got that back and forth.
Went back and forth.
Yeah. For the publication, which probably hurt its sales.
I see.
Japan just finished last year in April. That's when they got the last book.
Japan just got the last book?
Last year in April.
Last year.
2017, Matt.
No, because
9 months ago.
Yeah, but he had been writing. I don't know how Japanese publication works, because it says he died like a long time ago. And this anime, all these books were all published a while ago.
Well, I'm talking about the manga.
Oh no, I'm talking about the light novels.
Oh no, those got effed.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
2004.
The manga also adapts a little bit differently. They do a few things different from, like, all 3 different adaptations have stuff that goes a little bit differently, but it still does the same basic plot.
Interesting.
But that's all I really want to talk about, was just like the novels and the handling of characters and everything. So now we're going to talk about how the music was.
I like the music. The opening was nice. Henry, you didn't like the opening very much.
No, it's not my personal taste in music.
I thought the opening was okay.
The band's Bucktick. They do a lot of good stuff.
I don't really remember the ending song that much. I don't remember the ending song that much. I kind of skipped it most of the time.
It was just like this super light heart piano.
The actual background music in this was great.
It was really good.
So you guys got the English one. I listened to the Japanese one.
Oh.
They use different music in both because licensing reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the Japanese one, the English dub one was a lot of like Catholic organ playing like.
Yeah, the Japanese got the same.
Yeah, it all felt very thematic.
It was all very thematic, very good. I felt like this was like when we compare it to Kaze no Stigma's music.
I mean,
or lack thereof.
Yeah, exactly.
If you would have just given Kaze no Stigma like bubblegum pop, I think I would have just liked it a little better. Just give it fun, bubbly music and just turn it into an entire comedy.
Yeah.
Don't even bother making it serious. Just make it an entire comedy. I will love it.
Yeah, that helped the series a lot.
But the music was okay. Like, I thought the background music was way better than the opening in ED, but I think the opening was still good enough that I'll listen to it on occasion. The animation, though. So I'm going to start with the OP animation, which is just an AMV.
It's an AMV.
It really is.
I love the fact that it was an AMV, though. Like, as soon as I watched it, it was like, oh, you guys were on YouTube back in the 2000s, weren't you?
There's another anime that I hope we get to that its opening is basically like an AMV.
There's a few on the list that I know of, too.
But we never actually see any of those scenes in the show, do we?
No, we do. We see every scene.
Yeah, every
scene in there is scene from the actual anime.
I completely skipped the opening.
Okay.
You pulled at me.
Yeah.
You pulled a Rob. Now, the general animation...
I thought the first couple times, I was like, no, I don't like it. And just
the first...
Saved you 5 minutes.
So now we get to the actual like animation throughout the episodes.
The animation felt a lot smoother than...
The character design animation all felt smoother.
It still had that chunky milk feel that most like early 2s.
Yeah.
That greeny sort of look to it.
So what I thought was the most interesting was their use of 3D.
Yeah.
For the ships?
Yeah, for the ships.
Oh, the ships. Like the last episode, Kane's feathers were 3D.
Yeah,
which added an interesting glow and like softness to them.
Also, whenever Abel had his
all of
Abel's stuff, all the weapons, all the Kruznik weapons were all 3D. Yeah. Like I thought that was a really cool idea. I felt like if it had been done nowadays, it probably would have blended a little bit better. Yeah. But it still looked cool. I thought the animation was really
it was
well done.
very heavy with the dark colors.
Yes.
I mean,
it was.
It's an anime about vampires. Do we need to go to Hellsing Ultimate real quick and look at how dark that gets?
No. Absolutely not.
Right. So I think that's all we really need to talk about animation. Any other closing statements about this one?
It's on the top of the list now.
It is now 1 out of 2.
Oh yeah, that is correct. Out of the 2 anime,
Kaze no Stigma has been dethroned.
Kaze no Stigma, no longer the number 1 we've watched.
Sorry, bro.
Sorry, Kaze.
Still number 2. I'm not sorry. I'm gonna go find the person that wrote this novel and shit on his grave.
Wow.
For Kaze no Stigma?
Yes.
Yeah. Go fly to Japan.
I will. Just find him. You'll see it on the news.
Time to random.
Oh no.
Tamako Market.
Henry, have you heard of this?
Nope.
I think I've seen memes of this, but I don't know if I don't think I've ever watched
a screenshot I'll need.
Okay.
Oh my god, the animation.
So what year?
We didn't talk about the animation.
2013.
We didn't talk about the anime eyes.
Oh, the fact that anime eyes are always larger than they're supposed to be?
No, like this show definitely had like
Esther's eyes were bigger than her forehead.
Eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean I'm used to anime eyes, so like not that big of a deal. This actually has a pretty good synopsis right here for this, so we'll just do this. So Tamako, oh god, that's a long one. Kitashirakawa is the eldest daughter of a family which runs a Tamaya mochi shop, in the Usagiyama shopping district. One day, Tamako encounters a strange talking bird named Dara Mochi Mazi, who comes from a distant land searching for a bride for his country's prince. After becoming overweight from eating too much, Dara ends up becoming a freeloader in Tamako's home. The series follows the everyday lives of Tamako, her friends, family, and neighbors, and this particular bird, as well as keeping track of the main course of events. Tamako Market follows the emotional lives of characters in between each other, having a main love story, which is Mochizo's crush on Tamako, and both of them being too shy to open up to each other.
All right.
So it's a slice of life, and this one is
released 2013. It says.
Yep. Released 2013.
Studio
This one's only 12 episodes.
Studio's great.
Yep. Do we want to add a second one then, since this is 12 episodes? I actually have no way to confirm that it'll be that I'll get another 12 episode one. So I guess we're doing 12 episode one this time. That's been it for 26 and under. I've not seen this one, so
yeah. So this is an anime that I wouldn't normally watch.
I mean,
it looks like it has the same art style as K-On!
Because
I think it's because it's from Kyoto Animation.
I mean, it's a slice of life. So like I've been on and off of slice. You've watched Slice of Life before.
Look at that fat bird. Look at it.
Yeah, that's the fat bird they were
That
talking
is a fat
about.
bird. But like the synopsis just doesn't like catch me off like
okay.
first read.
I mean, Henry,
I have watched Slice of Life shows. Yes.
I was about to say,
no, you're 100%.
if I told you, if you read the Gamers synopsis, would you have watched Gamers?
No. Exactly.
But
you have definitely forced me to watch some things that I would not have normally watched at first.
Henry, I got a slice of life for you. Good. Called School Days. It's a slice of life.
No.
Check the taglines.
All right. Signing off from 26 and under. This has been Matt.
This has been Henry.
This has been Robert.
Signing off. Fucking bringing up School Days.